In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a puzzle that checks the player's weight, or the weight of the player's inventory. And what I have here is a scenario where I've got west of bridge, and then I've got a rope bridge, and it's spanning a gorge and ends up east of bridge, right? So what's going to happen here is if I don't have my maximum inventory, I'll be able to cross the bridge. But if the weight of my inventory is sort of collectively 10 units, then I'm going to fall. So and end up at the bottom of the gorge. So that's what we're going to do here. So let's pop over to Lantern, and we'll just sort of talk about how it handles mass and weight. So if you pop over to Lantern here, you'll see we've got our 4 locations: west of bridge, the bridge, east of the bridge, and then the bottom of the gorge, which is where we're going to fall to our death if we try to cross the rope bridge while we're carrying too much stuff. There's a large rock, a small rock, and a toaster, and I'm just putting that in here just so I have various combinations of weights to pick up. And you can see down here at the bottom right, there's a mass field for every object. So the large rock has a mass of 7, the small rock has a mass of 3, the toaster has a mass of 1. Mass and weight, I don't know, you could think of those as being the same thing in our context. What about the player? The player's mass is kind of a special case. The player's mass is sort of the accumulation, it's the weight of the player's inventory. It's the weight of everything that the player is carrying. However, if you pop over to the variables tab, you will see that there are 2 variables that are built in for you: max weight and INV weight. So your maximum weight and your inventory weight. If you don't see these variables, it's because you've got an older version of Lantern, and if you just upgrade it, download the latest one, these will get populated for you. So this is how much you're allowed to carry, and this is the weight of everything that you are carrying. So you can, maybe there's a strength potion you drink or something, or you're too tired, but if you rest, then you can carry more. You can change that by you can affect that change by manipulating the max weight variable. Generally, you won't really need to do that. And then your inventory weight, that's the kind of accumulation of the masses or weights of everything in your inventory, and you can check that. So let's look at what we're doing here to kind of set up our little scenario. So the toaster has a mass or a weight of 1, the small rock has a mass weight of 3, and the large rock has a mass weight of 7. Now, if we go back to variables here and I click on the max weight, you'll see that the default value of that is 10. So the player can carry sort of 10 units of weight, but you could change that if you wanted to. You could change that in game if you wanted to. So but it starts off being 10. And the idea is that, like, why 10? Well, okay, maybe you just want the player to be able to carry no more than 10 items or something. So what you could do is give everything in your game a mass of 1, and then it's going to limit how much the player can carry because they can only carry 10. So that's one way of kind of just limiting or configuring the amount of things that the player can carry. If you set the weight of everything to 0, the player can carry an unlimited amount of stuff. All right, so let's go look at an event here. And I've got one called check fall. And so events run every turn. And what this is going to do is it's going to say, is the player on the rope bridge? Is the player's holder, or the player's parent, the player's location in that big object tree, the rope bridge? If it is, check our inventory weight. So if it's 10, then print the rope bridge breaks under the weight of you and your inventory. And then put the player at the bottom of the gorge, and then print out the description of the location where we are now. And then I also have another event in here called print weight, and that is just printing out, just prints out the player's inventory weight every frame or every turn so we can see it. And notice, to print out a variable, there's a print var statement, right? And if you want to do that, just PV tab, right? It expands to print var, then put in the name of the thing you want to print. All right, so print var is for printing out a variable, the value of a variable, and print line is for, or print and print line are for printing out text. All right, so let's just run it and see what it does. So there's the player. Here we go. Okay, so there's our east of bridge, and let's just wait, and you'll see the player's weight is 0. All right, so, because we're not carrying anything. Now we set the mass of the large rock to be 7. Take large. Okay. Oh, weight is 7. Okay, drop large. Player's weight is 0. Take small. Player's weight is 3. Take large. Player's weight is 10. Drop large. Okay, so you can see that as we take and drop things, the inventory weight will change. Now, I don't have a mechanism right now for, if you threw the rock at something and now you don't have the rock anymore. It doesn't recompute the player's weight every turn because it's got to loop through the entire object table, and it seems that most turns you're not going to be recomputing the inventory weight, so don't bake that in and slow down every turn of the game. I'm going to find another way to do that. I'll put in a function to do that. But you can see that get, take, and drop, and also wear will change the player's inventory weight, because if you wear something, your game might automatically pick it up. So you can see that there is some sort of automatic computation of the player's weight. So the player's weight is 3. So let's go east. Okay, so we're on the rope bridge, high over a gorge. Player's weight is 3. Okay, so let's go west and type look. Oh, I can't go that way. West. Oh, I'm already west of the bridge. Okay, so let's look. There's a large rock here. Take large. Wait, actually, let me drop the large rock. Let's try this again. Take the toaster. Okay, so the weight is 4. Now let's try to take the large rock. You can't carry anymore, right? Because now if we add those all up, we'll end up with 11, which is more than we're allowed to carry because the max inventory weight is 10. And if you wanted to see all that stuff, just type out the word vars and in the deep little terminal, and Lantern will dump out all your variables for you and just show you what you got. All right, so what's our weight again? So let's drop the toaster. Let's take the large rock, and let's go east. And it's going to run that event. It's going to say if the player's on the bridge and the player's weight is 10, then do something bad. Okay, so you're high on a rope bridge over a gorge. The rope bridge breaks under the weight of you and your inventory. Bottom of gorge, and then it prints out the new location. And I didn't actually put any text in there, which is why it prints that out. So now you can see that that it is actually, in fact, checking the player's weight. So there you go. So now you got a whole other kind of set of puzzles that you can play with. You could even play with like maybe gravity and anti-gravity or something like that. If you have sort of a science fiction-y game, you've got to put the anti-gravity pack on something, and that would change its mass, right? So all of this stuff right here, this mass, this is just a regular old attribute of an object, and you can change this. So you can say if the the reactor, if the anti-gravity pack is on the reactor, then the reactor's mass is 0 or something like that. So you could actually make things lighter or heavier. You can change the mass of objects in your game to, I don't know, change the properties of the physical world, which is kind of cool. It opens up a whole lot of interesting possibilities. So there you go. That's how you can manage weight within Lantern. Just to recap, so getting objects, dropping objects, wearing objects, that will recompute the player's inventory weight, and that is stored in 2 variables, max weight and inventory weight. So max weight is how much the player is allowed to carry. Inventory weight is the amount that the player is actually carrying. And now that Lantern exposes these, you can write events that test them. And take action accordingly. So there you go. If you have any questions about that, just message me through Schoology or email me evanw@tcdupage.org, and I will be happy to help you.